So right guys, this is the continuation of 17th group elements. So in this class I am going to teach you anomalous behavior of the fluorine. So fluorine shows anomalous behavior with the rest of the elements present in the 17th group: fluorine, bromine, iodine. So now let us see which properties this one shows anomalous behavior. So first one, electronegativity, ionization energy, and next one, electrode potential. Electrode potential. These properties are very high for the fluorine. These properties are very high for the fluorine. So these properties are very high for the fluorine comparing with the rest of the elements present in the 17th group. And the next one, the properties: ionization, ionic radius, atomic radius, ionic radius, atomic radius, melting point and boiling point, melting point and boiling point. Next one, bond dissociation energy and electron gain enthalpy. Electron gain enthalpy. These properties are very low. These properties are very low for the fluorine comparing with the rest of the elements in the same group. So now let us discuss why this variation is present. So so first one, ionization energy. So comparing with the other elements, chlorine, next one bromine, iodine, ionization energy is very high for the fluorine because its small size. Fluorine contains small size. So then the electrons present in the outermost shell strongly attracted by the nucleus. So the removal of electron is very difficult. We need to use the more amount of the energy. In case of the other elements, so they are in large size. And the next one, so here attraction between the electron in the outermost shell and the next one, nucleus, distance is very high, then removal of electron is very easy because of poor interaction between the nucleus and electron due to the more distance. But in case of fluorine, due to the small size, electron is strongly attracted by the nucleus, so the removal of electron is very difficult here. Okay, so due to this reason, due to the small size, fluorine exhibits more electronegativity or high electronegativity. And the next one, ionization energy, more or high ionization energy. Next one, electronegativity. So electronegativity means what? Electronegativity means tendency of an atom to attract the bond pairs towards itself is known as electronegativity. So now due to the small size, and fluorine is the element with the highest electronegativity value, that is 4. In periodic table, among all the elements, fluorine contains highest electronegativity value, that is 4. After the fluorine, the next element is oxygen. This one has 3.5. Right? So now due to the high electronegativity, fluorine is able to attract the bond pair of electrons towards itself. Electrode potential. So electrode potential means the capacity of a reactant to pull the electron towards itself during the redox reaction is known as the electrode potential. So here fluorine has the highest electrode potential value, that is plus 2.8 volts. Among all the elements in the periodic table, fluorine has highest electrode potential value. This one has more ability. This one is more ability to attract the electron in a redox reaction. Right? Next one, let us see ionic radius and atomic radius. Ionic radius of the fluoride, atomic radius of the fluorine are very low comparing with the other atoms, because fluorine, bromine, iodine, so in these elements number of shells are increases. 3 shells, and here 4 shells present, and here 5 shells present. As number of shells increases, size of the atom increases. In case of the fluorine, only 2 shells present, so its atomic radius is small comparing with the rest of the elements. Okay, and the next one, ionic radius also same, but when we compare the ionic radius of the fluoride and the next one atomic radius of the fluorine, between these two, this one has more radius or more size. F minus contains more size than F, because in F minus only 9 protons and 10 electrons, but in case of F, 9 protons and 9 electrons present. Here 9 protons are able to attract the 9 electrons. So attractions are more here, as a result size decreases. But in this case 10 electrons should be attracted by the 9 protons. It is little bit difficult task for the 9 protons. Okay, so here as a result 9 protons are unable to attract the 10 electrons towards itself. Compression decreases, and comparing to the fluorine here size is little bit more. Okay, and the melting and boiling points. So right guys, melting point exhibited by the fluorine molecule F2 is very low comparing with the rest of the molecules of the elements. So now F2, Cl2, Br2, and next one I2. So generally when size and the next one weight increases, then melting and boiling points also increases. So fluorine has small size. This is the F2 molecule, and next one if you take the I2 molecule, so this is the size of the I2 molecule. In case of F2 molecule, between two fluorine molecules, strong interactions are present due to the small size. The van der Waals force of attraction is very low between the molecules with the small size. But in case of the molecules with a very large size, here van der Waals force of attractions are very high. So when van der Waals force of attractions are very high, so then melting and boiling points also very high. Here van der Waals force of attractions are low, so then here melting and boiling points also low. So due to the small size of the fluorine molecules, here intermolecular attractions are very weak. So then melting and boiling points are very low here. And here due to the heavy size, intermolecular attractions are very high. So then melting and boiling points also increases. Next one, bond dissociation energy. The bond dissociation energy. So generally here, so this is F2 molecule, and here this is the bond length. Next one, let me take iodine. I2 molecule. This is the bond length of the I2 molecule. Now between these two, so where bond length is more, here bond length is more. When bond length is more, then easily you can break that bond. So by using small amount of energy, this bond will be break down. So here bond dissociation energy is less. But in case of this one, here you see bond length is very less, then it is difficult to break down this bond. So now from fluorine to iodine, F2 to I2, bond length increases. When bond length increases, then bond dissociation energy means the amount of energy required to break down the bond. Okay, when length of the bond increases, so then to break down the bond, energy is decreases. Bond length increases, bond dissociation energy decreases. So we can write the expected order here. F2 contains more bond dissociation energy, means to break down this bond more amount of energy is needed than Cl2 and Br2 and followed by I2. This is the expected order. But F2 has least bond dissociation energy than I2. So what is the reason for this? Generally when length decreases, then it must contain more bond dissociation energy. More amount of energy is needed to break down that bond. But here F2 shows abnormal behavior due to its small size, due to the inter-electronic repulsions. Yeah, of course, small size also we need to consider. So now here this is the F atom and this is the another F atom in F2 molecule. Now here each F has how many lone pairs? 3 lone pairs. Now these three lone pairs are very close together. The lone pairs present in first fluorine and second fluorine are very close. When the electrons are very close together, repulsions arises. When repulsions arises, this bond is become weak. Okay, so by using less amount of energy, so this bond easily break down. Right. So this is the reason why fluorine contains small bond dissociation energy than I2. The reason for that, due to the interelectronic repulsions, this bond becomes weaker. Next one, electron gain enthalpy. Electron gain enthalpy. So right guys, electron gain enthalpy means what? Electron gain enthalpy means the amount of energy liberated during the addition of electron to the outermost shell of a gaseous atom is known as electron gain enthalpy. For example, this is an atom present in the gaseous state. Now during the addition of electron to the outermost shell of this atom, some amount of energy is liberated. That energy is known as electron gain enthalpy. So now generally when size decreases, electron gain enthalpy should be more. But here fluorine shows less electron gain enthalpy comparing with the chlorine. Generally expected one is this one because F has small size than chlorine. But here fluorine has more electron gain enthalpy than chlorine. So what is the reason for that? Here also reason is interelectronic repulsions. For example, this is the fluorine atom. In fluorine atom, let me take this one as a chlorine and this is the fluorine atom. In the first shell of the fluorine, how many electrons? 2 electrons. In second shell of the fluorine, how many electrons present? Number of electrons are 7 present. So here 2 to 6 and 7. Now when you add the electron, it will be the 8th electron. Now you see here, due to the small size, so electrons are close together. Due to the closeness of the electrons, here repulsions arises. When repulsions arises, the stability decreases. When stability decreases, then energy increases. So this one is storing some amount of energy in itself. But in case of chlorine, after gaining of electron, here enough space is there. In case of chlorine, enough space is present. So this is a newly entered electron. So then after entry of the 8th electron or new electron, here repulsions are not heavier comparing with the fluorine. The reason is enough space is there here. So interelectronic repulsions are here negligible. So here more amount of energy is liberated and it will be stable. So generally all the halogens after gaining electron, they attain noble gas configuration and they are stable. So then here when you add one electron, 8 electrons present, and here also after adding electron, 8 electrons present. So both should be stable. Okay, but comparing with fluorine with chlorine, this is a little bit less stable than chlorine. The reason, interelectronic repulsions. Due to the interelectronic repulsions, the negative value given by the fluorine less comparing with the chlorine. So right, during the addition of electrons, some amount of energy is liberated. That energy is electron gain enthalpy. In a given process, if energy is released, then the process is known as exothermic process, and the values are represented with the negative sign. So this is a exothermic process. Because here amount of energy is liberated. In a given process, amount of energy is liberated, that is exothermic process represented with the negative value. The negative value produced by chlorine is more than negative value produced by the fluorine. Because here interelectronic repulsions are there, so some amount of energy is stored in F atom, fluorine atom only. So this is the criteria why fluorine has maximum ionization energy and electronegativity, electrode potential, and low ionic radius, atomic radius, melting boiling points, bond dissociation energy, and electron gain enthalpy. So next one, the reactivity of the 17th group elements with hydrogen. Reaction with hydrogen. All the 17th group elements react with hydrogen and forms hydrogen halides. Here X means fluorine, bromine, and iodine. X means fluorine, bromine, iodine. So here they can react with the hydrogen and forms the hydrogen halide. HF, HCl, HBr, and the next one HI. So right, from when you move from fluorine to iodine, the tendency of an element decreases to react with the hydrogen due to the increase in the size. So from fluorine to iodine, size increases, so the tendency to react with the hydrogen decreases. Okay, so now here HF this is more stable than HCl. HCl is more stable than HBr. HBr is more stable than HI. So now let us discuss some parameters regarding the hydrogen halides. First one, bond dissociation energy. Now HF in this, hydrogen small is very small and fluorine size also small. Now what about the bond length? Bond length also very small, and you take HI. So this is the hydrogen size and iodine is large in size. So now what about the bond length here? Bond length also increases. So now from HF to HI, bond length increases. When bond length increases, bond dissociation energy also decreases. HF contains less bond length, small bond length. So to break down this bond, more amount of energy is required. In case of HI, you see bond length is more. To break down this bond, small amount of energy is sufficient. So from HF to HI, bond dissociation energy decreases due to the increase in the bond length. So now we can write the order like this: HF greater than HCl, greater than HBr, greater than HI. This is the bond dissociation energy. And the next one, acidic character. So when you dissolve these hydrogen halides in water, they can release H plus ion and they act as strong acids. When you dissolve them in water, they can release H plus ion. So these all are acidic in nature in case when they are in water. When they are dissolved in water, they act as strong acids. Now from HF to HI, the acidic character increases. HF contains less acidic character than HCl. HCl contains less acidic character than HBr, and the next one HI. So here the acidic character depends upon the bond dissociation energy. So right, acidic character is inversely proportional to the bond dissociation energy. Now for HI molecule, bond dissociation energy is very low, so then easily this one can release the H plus ion. In case of HF, bond length is very short, so here it is difficult to generate the H plus ion by HF molecule. So right, so here due to the decrease in the bond dissociation energy, HI contains more acidic character than HF. Okay, and the next one, melting and boiling points. Melting and boiling points. So you know that when size and mass increases, melting and boiling points also increases. So then HI, we can expect that Hi contains more melting boiling points than HBr, and the next one HCl and HF. This is the expected order because in case of Hi, molecules are very high. This is one Hi molecule, and next one, this is another Hi molecule. Both are large in size. So here van der Waals force of attraction is present. So now melting and boiling points also increases here. In case of HF molecules, we can expect that. So this is the size of the two HF molecules. Here intermolecular attractions are very low. So then we can say that here this one contains less melting and boiling point. This is generally expected one. But here HF shows some abnormality. This one contains more melting and boiling point than Hi. The reason, so here hydrogen and fluorine, which is a high electronegative atom. When hydrogen is present between the two high electronegative atoms, then hydrogen bond formation takes place. In case of Hi, so this is one HF molecule and this is the another HF molecule. So now between these two atoms this bond is there, and here this one is more electronegative atom, moves towards the fluorine and partial negative charge develops here, and here partial positive charge develops. Same criteria we can same criteria will be repeated here also. So now this is with negative charge and this one with the positive charge. So between these two, electrostatic force of attraction develops. This is a strong force of attraction than van der Waals force of attraction. To break down this attraction, so more amount of energy is needed. That's why HF contains more melting and boiling points than other hydrogen halides. So this is about reaction of the halogens with hydrogen. So right students, the next concept is reaction with oxygen. Okay. 7th group elements, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, they react with oxygen and forms respective oxides. So let us discuss one by one. First let me take the fluorine. So fluorine reacts with oxygen and forms two types of the oxides. It can form two types of the oxides. First one is F2O and second one is F2O2. So right guys, so these are known as fluorides, oxygen fluorides. These are not oxides, these are known as fluorides. So you know guys, the reason is fluorine is more electronegative atom than oxygen. So electronegativity value of the fluorine is 4.0 and oxygen 3.5. So due to this reason, these are known as fluorides, not oxides. Okay. So now here, between these two, this is thermally stable, which is thermally stable, and the next one up to 298 Kelvin, up to 298 Kelvins, which is thermally stable. But upon heating, this one decomposes to OF radicals. It gives two OF radicals upon heating. This one decomposes to give oxygen fluoride radicals. Next one, these two are acts as good oxidizing agents. F2O and F2O2 both are good oxidizing agents. Sorry, fluorinating agents. They are good fluorinating agents. So they act as fluorinating agents. Fluorinating agent means they can release the F minus ion. Which one can donate the F minus ion? That is known as fluorinating agent. So these two are good fluorinating agents. And the next one here, this F2O2, which is used to remove the plutonium present in the nuclear fuels. In nuclear fuels, plutonium is present as an impurity. So to remove this one, F2O2 is used. after adding of F2O2 to the nuclear fuel containing plutonium, then which is oxidized by the F2O2. So then this F2O2, when it is treated with plutonium, here plutonium oxidized to PuF6. So now the removal of this one is very easy from the nuclear fuel. So this is about the fluorides, oxygen fluorides. And the next one, chlorine. So chlorine reacts with the oxygen, forms. Okay. Next one, oxides of the chlorine. Chlorine reacts with oxygen and forms different types of the oxides. Example, Cl2O, ClO2 and ClO3. So this one exists as a dimer, that is Cl2O6, and next one Cl2O7. So these are some stable oxides exhibited by the chlorine. Now here chlorine has +1 oxidation state. In this molecule chlorine has +4 oxidation state. Here chlorine has +6 oxidation state, and here this one has +7 oxidation state. So you know guys, if oxidation state increases, then acidic character increases, and next one, oxidizing nature also increases. Oxidizing nature also increases. So now from Cl2O to Cl2O7, oxidation state increases. So then acidity also increases from left to right, and next one oxidizing nature also increases. So this one acts as a good oxidizing agent. And the next one, the ClO2 is used as a bleaching. This one used as a bleaching agent to bleach the wood pulp. This wood pulp is used in the preparation of paper, and the next one in the preparation of rayon. Rayon is one of the synthetic fiber, and it is used to treat the water. In the water treatment also this one is used. So this is about the oxides of the chlorine. And the next one, oxides of the bromine. Right, oxides of bromine. So next one, bromine forms oxides. They are Br2O and BrO2 and BrO3. So these three are unstable oxides. These three are unstable and acts as good oxidizing agents. So they can exist below the room temperature. Right? So this is about the oxides of the bromine. And last one, iodine. Oxides of the iodine. So iodine forms oxides I2O4, I2O5 and I2O7. So these are the oxides given by iodine. Right. So now these are existing solid state, but these are insoluble in water. These are existing solid states and insoluble in water. So here iodine is polarized by the oxygen. As a result, covalent nature increases. That's why they are insoluble in water. So right guys, so this is about the oxides of the halogens. So now when you compare the stability of the oxides of the halogens, so here oxide of iodine more stable than oxide of chlorine, which is more stable than oxide of bromine. Oxides exhibited by the iodine more stable than oxides of the chlorine, and these are more stable than the oxides of the bromine. So what is the reason for this? The reason is here iodine is polarized by the oxygen. So here there is polarity between oxygen and hydrogen. The bond is polarized. So due to the polarization of the bond here, the stability of the atom increases. So due to the polarizability, the stability of the molecule increases here. So here in the oxides of the iodine is polarized by the oxygen. So here there is a polarizable bond between these two, that is a strong bond. That's why this is more stable. And next one, oxides of the chlorine. So now here in the oxides of the chlorine, between chlorine and next one oxygen, double bonds present. So now one is sigma bond and another one is pi bond. So now chlorine contains small size comparing with bromine and next one iodine. So this is capable to form the pi bonds with oxygen. You know oxygen is already smallest atom and chlorine also small atom. That's why that is able to form the pi bonds. So due to the presence of the double bond here, the oxides of the chlorine also more stable. Now oxides of the bromine. This bromine is neither too large like iodine to get polarizability and nor too small to form the pi bond. So due to this reason, this is least stable. Oxides of the bromine are least stable. So this is about the oxides of the halogens.